Now I'm going to look for the bridge. So this song actually has a bridge section that kind of falls into two parts. So this is a good example. I might call this bridge A and call the next section bridge B. Okay, then I'll look for the start of the next part of this bridge. Essentially, I'm just trying to think of it in terms of if I was trying to learn how to play this song, how would I want it broken down for me so that it would be kind of logical, digestible sections that I could work on and then move on from. So that's the start of my outro, so I'll go ahead and put that in now while I'm right on it. Yeah, that's where the guitar part changes, so I'll make that the second part of my bridge. Call that bridge B. So I'm not going to take the time to do my other verses and choruses because I think you get the idea, but that's essentially the bare minimum of what you would need in order to get the auto generation feature in Magma to work. So I'll go ahead and exit out of here, and next we'll take a look at updating your venue using the new text events. Okay, so the last thing we're going to take a look at here is how to migrate any venue work that we had done under the original process so that it's ready and able to compile in Magma V2, and it'll be ready to audition in Rock Band 3. So essentially what I'd like to do is quickly show you my existing venue track where you can see we've got all of our MIDI notes up here that are controlling camera cuts, where the camera is emphasized, and things of that nature. And then down below in the text event area, we're controlling directed cuts and changing lighting cues and things like that. So it's kind of split between the two. In the new version, almost all of this information will be moved down into the text event area, and there'll be very little left up above here. In fact, the only thing that'll really still be left up in the MIDI note area is sing-along notes, where we've got our other band members singing along with the vocalist for portions of the song. And then we'll still use the MIDI notes to control spotlights because those have kind of a timing aspect to turning on and off. Everything else will be down below here. So you could make your changes directly in the venue track as you go. I'm just going to recommend a slightly different approach that'll allow you to preserve all of your original work until you're sure that you're finished and you're confident that you've done it correctly and you're ready to pull the trigger on getting rid of the old version. So I'm just going to essentially right click on the venue track and select duplicate tracks, and that'll just give me another one exactly like it. So temporarily while we're working here, we'll have two of these. And I'm going to use the same process we use when we're creating overdrive phrases or unison phrases, where we'll actually open multiple MIDI tracks at one time and see them overlaid on top of each other. So all you have to do to select multiple is hold down the control key and select the two tracks that you want, and then hit Control Alt E, and then they open at the same time. It might not be immediately obvious, but if you hold down Alt and then hit the N key, you can actually tab back and forth between the two windows, and they look the same right now. So what I'm going to do is open our new one that we made by itself, hold down Control and hit A to select everything, and then I'm going to just delete it so I have a nice empty track to work off of. Except that I know I want my little venue track name down here so that Magma can identify which track this is. So I'm just going to hold down Control and deselect venue, and then everything else is still selected. So I just hit the delete key, and now everything goes away, and I've got kind of a blank page to work from. Now I'm going to hold down Control and multi-select both of those tracks and then hit Control Alt E to open them both at the same time. And now if I hit Alt N, N as in Nancy, I can tab back and forth between the two, but when I'm looking at my new empty one, I can still see my notes from my original version sort of ghosted through, and I can just use that as a reference to know where to position everything, so I don't have to redo that thinking and decision making all over again. So then I basically just start inching through it, and I'll look at my MIDI notes, and it looks like originally here I wanted to start off with silhouette lighting and a nice far shot showing the whole stage or the whole band. So I'll switch over to my new track, my new venue track, and before I can start picking the new text events, I have to load them up, similar to how we saw earlier on the events track. So I'll double click in the text event area, and I've still got all my old master list, which is not only containing a lot of stuff we wouldn't use in the venue track, but also has the old versions of a lot of these event names. So I'm going to hit load and bring in this venue text events list that I created. And now everything in here is specific to what we would actually use in the venue track. So up here we've got everything that starts with COOP is all my camera cuts with emphasis that I would have originally used up here in the MIDI note area. And then down below, everything that starts with directed is all of the text events that we would have had down below here. So now these are all text events that will be down in the text event area. And then because it's alphabetized, they're a little bit intermingled with our post-process effects, which are the sort of Photoshop filters that layer over the top and change the look of the video. And then things like bonus effects for your stage pyro, and then all of our lighting cues. So that's essentially what's on the list now. So I'm going to look for that lighting silhouettes cue, and then I'll just layer it over the top of where I can see the old one sort of shining through there. So then to add my far shot showing the whole stage, I'll go into my list again. I'll choose co-op all far. So essentially the way this new naming scheme works is if it starts with co-op, then that's meant to replace anything that you would have done with MIDI notes up in the top section here. Then there's an underscore, and then the next thing is which band members it's emphasizing. So it's either going to be all, B is your bassist, BD is bassist and drummer, bassist and guitarist, bassist and keyboard player, bassist and vocalist, drummer, etc. And then the last thing it shows is which angle it's going to be looking at those band members from. So this is our nice far shot, and then I'll put this right back here at the beginning, and then I'll see what my next thing is. So the next thing I wanted to do with my camera was cut to the drummer and the vocalist together. So I'll switch over to my new track, create a text event, and I'll select co-op DV, and then line it up right with where I can see that the old ones were. Now I can see I had a text event here, so I'll flip over and look at what that was. That was a close-up on the bass on the fretboard. So I'll go down to my directed section, choose directed bass close, and then line it right up with where I had the old one. Here's another one. That's a directed cut of the drums. That's LT. That's the long tracking shot, circling around the drums. There it is. Line it right up with the old one. Then next I had a camera cut to just the vocalist, and it looks like I wanted it to be a close-up. So I'm going to go back into my list and choose co-op V for vocalist close-up. Line it up with where I had it. And then this is essentially how the whole process goes. I just keep working my way through it. Now I don't even really have to flip over anymore. I can see I've got one of the guitarist. So there's co-op G, and I've got a couple choices. I could be behind him, close by. I could be close up on his hand or on his head. The close up on his hand is going to be a little different than the directed cut of the fretboard, but similar. Here, if you were advancing through keyframes for one of the manual lighting rigs, like manual warm or manual cool, you can basically just replace those with text events now that say next or previous, and put those in as often as you need to. And then the last thing I'll take a look at here is, because most of this is essentially just the same thing over and over again. Oh, here's one where ordinarily if I would have wanted to show a camera angle featuring all of my band members at one time, now I'm going to pick one of the co-op all, behind, far, near, or co-op front, behind, co-op front, near. Those are basically my camera choices that'll let me see the whole band at one time. And then towards the end of the song here, I started using spotlights. And you can see they're coming in at different times based on what's going on during that bridge section. And spotlights are, again, some of the MIDI notes that we do use in the new system. So what I'll do is go ahead and just select those and paste them straight over into my new chart. And other than that, it's essentially just a matter of continuing to look at what camera choices you were making, what lighting choices you were making, and then making sure that you've updated those with new text events till you get all the way to the end of your song, and then you're finished. So hopefully this is helpful. I'll make the Reaper template that I use and the text events lists that I used in this video available on the Creators Club site, and I'll post a link to that forum thread in the description for this video, so that you can go ahead and grab those if you would like to use them. But again, I'm extremely thankful to the other members of the authoring community who have taught me all of this material and who have helped me with endless questions and working through the process. So the RBN community is amazing, and they're definitely there for you as a resource if you get stuck or if you're just starting out trying to learn the process. Most of it's pretty easy. There's just a lot of it, so it's a lot of stuff to track, and it's easy to forget things along the way. So they're a great bunch of people to tap into. So thanks for watching, and shoot me an email if there's anything I can help you with. And have a good one. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.